Greetings from Command. There is much talk, in environments that are more integrated with the reality of our existence, about our conduct in conflict situations and clashes of different ideas. Naturally, this is also an issue that will be included in the first rows of obligations, when we can finally work together for the necessary improvements on the planet. Diplomacy is something that we genuinely value. There are countless races throughout the cosmos and, more intimately, in the galaxy where Earth exists, there are many groups where we have debated a lot about certain things in the plan for the development of the planet. There are always meetings about important topics, regarding what can or cannot be implemented, in line with planetary ascension, considering the countless variables, due to the level of planetary consciousness in constant and frenetic adjustment. The difference is that in these meetings there is no disrespect, rudeness, or exaltation of voices with a hint of oppression, insult or imposition. There are always disagreements and agreements and, naturally, when a harmonious consensus is reached, we move on to the next agenda item. There is always affection and a real desire for collaboration. Hierarchy and conduct in the Federation. Those who have greater expansion and light are always among the main counselors and direct instructors, because even though the hierarchy is not as it often is on Earth, on board our ships and meeting centers, there are counselors who are hierarchically respected and honored, as teachers and executive directors of divine plans. Even though the human mind has difficulty understanding certain dynamics in our organizations and how we deal with certain situations, respect, diplomacy, and honor to the hierarchy are fundamental points for the minimum good harmonious coexistence in our Federation. Understand that when we talk about hierarchy, we are not talking about superiors ordering inferiors around or giving orders. We are talking about a field where the understanding about the source is naturally broader and there is unconditional respect for this in our environments. Obviously, no one needs to dictate rules and orders, because there is a natural consensus where everyone knows very well their role and how far they can go. In meetings, this is always very clear and evident, and even though they exist and are often heated when it comes to the Earth agenda, it is never as your mind might imagine, considering the earthly reality, when many are thirsty for power and control over others. Even though we know our role and have our responsibilities assured, listening to our superiors is always a moment of great joy and jubilation, because we are constantly learning and open to our development. There is always a mutual partnership and, even in disagreements, there is respect and fraternity, and never, under any circumstances, oppression, aggression, imposition, disloyalty, or desire for power. There is a dynamic of speaking and listening. In our debates there are never verbal or vibrational abuses, because this clearly indicates two things: a desire for domination or fear. As you enter a new phase and we, as your friends in space, seek to collaborate, we enter into a synergy. You begin to understand the need for diplomacy for good coexistence. The need to understand the dynamics between boss and leader is something that will be very evident in the day-to-day life of a new society, which is formed from this point on, for the simple fact that true leadership is that which genuinely inspires, not just by talking and giving orders, but is that which, through example and goodwill, induces others to conduct themselves in an always forward-looking, edifying and inspiring manner. If you want to know about good leadership, understand whether it guides you to be better people on every possible level or just uses you to meet their most personal needs, often through machines that generate paper money. A real leader has developed deep empathy when he never oppresses, but sets an edifying example and conducts himself based on moral and spiritual values. Therefore, in the new society that is emerging, leadership will exist only in the Akashic of planetary history, replaced by transformative leaders. Challenges and the need for change. This topic is something that will still make many people roll their eyes, because messing with standards and values based on a need for power to be is challenging. As we have announced, our arrival will not only bring joy to those who know our real intentions, but will also shake the structures of beliefs and understanding of things, because we are not arriving first to the party, we are arriving first to help organize the house for her. Of course, organizing the house, yes, but never without the residents participating in the organization, and some will not want to move some things around, which will naturally be understandable, considering the eons of time of moral rigidity, but it will be inevitable due to the time for change, when the ruler of the house, Gaia, needs to heal. We hope that our presence and the opening of our conduct books will facilitate the understanding of what your tasks on the planet really are, as well as expanding your understanding of love, of true cosmic and fraternal love, when you can finally join the Federation again, with the inner possession of true ethics, diplomacy, and fraternity, thus ensuring your certification to travel with us through the universe, helping developing civilizations. And this is part of your future, because this is what we do today. It is an immense joy for us to collaborate and serve the Creator throughout the cosmos. We are constantly rejoicing about this. Friends, we know how much your freedom has been curtailed and how you could have better understood life on Earth and even in the universe. However, while you have gone through all this, you have also demonstrated your strength, which has never abandoned you. This is what brought us closer to you when, in the mid-1980s, we began to reach out more effectively at the request of the cosmic directors. Yes, we also know that there is still much resistance regarding us and our messages, as well as whether they are really true. Friends, these messages dictate truths that have often been denied to you by many and by other sources. And they stir you because your souls recognize them as trustworthy. Reassuming development and ending domination the way you have been treated for the past 26,000 years has greatly undermined your ability to discern what is and what is not, just as you have been deceived by many who dressed up as leaders but were in fact just non-federated enforcers of enslavement. The time of freedom echoes in the bells of discernment, and you are now taking the lead in your own development again, when those who imprisoned you are fleeing upon realizing that their time of domination is over. You will still notice, for a short time, apparent scenarios that everything continues as before, but we can assure you that it is quite the opposite. The more you perceive chaos and threats now, the more you will know that they are only the howls of old wolves trying to regroup the pack and even the pack to stay ahead, but the helm is already under our jurisdiction and there is nothing that can be done to take back the reins. This is an official message from the Ashtar Command through Neva, our base in South America. Listen to the voice of the Ashtar Command at this time as it conveys the truth that has been denied to you for ages. As time passes and we deliver more of our messages to you, more allies will join us on the surface and share our briefings as well, in order to increase the communication network, echoing the call throughout the earth for our other sources to awaken. We now call upon our sources around the world and the retransmitters of our messages to spread them in their languages. Translate, verbalize, and share them, make them reach the continents where we have many of our people in their physical avatars. This is an official message now transmitted to our representatives on Earth. Each one of you becomes an ambassador of the Federation when, within the fraternal principles, you understand the uniqueness of creation and are magnetically grouped in the same field of understanding, and thus, in a snowball effect, you drag others of the same line of understanding to the contiguous zone. While the wave and frequency of our approach make themselves felt, many on the front lines of global powers prepare to abandon their posts voluntarily or forcibly, because the generation of new and real leaders is already present. Adonai.